Hello, everybody. It is Rocco, your boy, coming at you again with another Age of Sigmar video. And also, after weeks of fighting with it, I believe I have fixed my green screen. Let's just take in this moment here. You can see my shirt. You can't see through me. I'm opaque. I mean, yeah, my camera's not the widest it's ever been, but, hey, I think we actually did it. Let's hope the audio's good. So, but back to the video. What is a win condition? Everyone keeps saying my army has this win condition. I have to meet the win condition. Da 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 da. It it's jargon for how they need to win the game. And like my little note right here, it's like, don't I just stand on objectives to win? Most battle plans tell me how to win, Rocco. All right, and as your boy, I feel like I need to explain a bit. Okay. Yes, you win by following the battle plan of hold. Usually, it's hold one objective for a point, hold two for a second point, hold more than your opponent, do your battle tactic, right? So you get your points, you score your grand strategy at the end of the game if you've achieved it throughout the game, however you need to. Every army is different, so I can't just go out and cookie cutter. Hey, this is what you do here. This is what you do there. That's not what this is. The win condition is how do you get to actually do all of that? How do I get to just stand on an objective? All right. Now, different armies play the game in different styles. All right, let's just establish that right here. You know, like as an example, some armies castle up. Right, they have buffs they need to hand out to their more important pieces, so they can be more durable or do more consistent damage, or what have you. Maybe there's buffs to movement, number of attacks. You need to be there to buff your stuff. You need support pieces. They need to stay around in this castle formation for so long until they get their chance to strike. Right? Your win condition is to stay in your castle and buff your stuff as long as possible throughout the game. The moment your castle breaks and your buff pieces die, the game is functionally over for you. There are some armies where this applies to a shooting castle, like the Lumineth Realm Lords. There's some armies where you can say the Adnith Deepkin have a version of this. I play at the Floating Castle, where with my mixed armed Deepkin with a lot of different shooting units that stay around my turtle, and we fight around the turtle. I build for that specifically. That's how the army functions. There are some armies where they need to alpha strike. They need to be aggressive. They need to put their melee pieces into combat in a certain way. Something like an Iron Jaws, where they can stand on objectives. They'd rather be pinning you in place in your deployment zone so you can't step on objectives more than they need to stand on objectives themselves. Now, they've got some single heroes that are buff pieces that'll just stand on them anyway. Maybe a unit of brutes with all the new stuff that Iron Jaws has. That army might functionally play a little bit differently. Where now it's a lot of multiple small units running up at you and screaming "Wog!" But their win condition is generally pin you in place still and stopping you from being able to score. Another thing I could say with, um, speaking of Deepkin, their main win condition is I need to get to battle round 3 where I will table my opponent. I can give up an earlier round or two of not scoring every point on the board so I don't overextend myself. As long as I get to round 3 with my always strikes first, that is my win condition. And so think of this. What are your armies that you play? Say it in the comments. What do you play? What do you think your win condition is? And it's not universally I have to do X to win. It's just a more likely scenario where I need this to happen in order to win. Like Gargants. Their win condition is stand on objectives for as long as possible. If they do it for 3 battle rounds, well, they're going to hold 1, 2, and more. And hopefully they've gotten some more help with battle tactics where they can actually achieve them, which is nice. Are they in the perfect spot? No. But if you could just stand on the objectives long enough and deny your opponent primary point scoring, you're probably going to win anyway. It's not going to be a high scoring game because you might not get every battle tactic you try. But again, it's stay alive long enough. Nurgle, that's kind of the same way. How hot are you at rolling those 5-up ward saves? Can you sit on an objective long enough to deny your opponent and keep scoring it over and over? You're not doing a bunch of damage. You need to wait them out, so your disease points throughout the course of the game can mortal wound your opponent off the table while you survive based off of your 5-up ward save. A lot of your armor saves are 4-up. You're trying to tank wounds. You're trying to use fleshy abundance. You're trying to, that's your game plan, right? And again, this depends on the build of each army. Different armies lists will play differently and will do different things. The win condition of, say, the 200 zombie list for Soul Blake Gravelords is body block the board so your opponent can't move. Yet prevent your opponent from scoring by sending them waves and waves of seemingly unkillable hordes. If they kill a unit of 60 zombies, great, you brought back a unit of 30 instead from a grave site. So part of your win condition is setting up grave sites to be impactful throughout the course of the game, so that when your units do finally die, you can bring them back into a place that's usable for you. So part of your game plan also would be screening out your own grave sites so you can keep using them. Let's see some other examples here. Sometimes there are armies like I played for my Stormcast for a long time. My win condition was I needed to table the other person. I'm an elite army. I cannot play the objective game well. I need to kill you off the objective. As silly as that sounds, right? Like, yeah, of course you gotta. It's Warhammer. War's in the name. You gotta kill the other person's army. Well, I need to be able to project my power through long range shooting to be able to make up for the fact that my points make it so I can't be a jack of all trades army. I can't bring a bunch of cavalry and shooting and some stuff to sit on objectives. I need to focus. My more recent tournament army with my with Gardas Steel Soul there, and only the faithful with Karzai, the big melee dragon, my win condition was to super power up the dragon so it can run off and murder things through different buffs I could do. But most importantly, keep my named character Gardas Steel Soul alive so that I can hold on to objectives for as long as possible. I played a version of the army called Stormkeep, in which my particular infantry of choice, which had the Redeemer keyword, counted as more models on each objective in my home territory. And after a certain point in the game, a certain battle round, if I remember right, it was battle round 3, they would count as more models on objectives on all of the objectives on the table. So that army, I could fight for objective play, but the way I would win games is I needed to keep my guys alive as long as possible while my dragon, my chariot, and my Drac Alliance went around killing everything. If I could hold out for all that and super power up my dragon with all its buffs, and thankfully my supporting pieces could try to help out in melee through my different tricks and magic and whatever, I'd have a good time, and I won a bunch of games with it. And that's the cool part, because then you could say, oh, I'm going to go take a bunch of long strikes, and then my win condition is shooting. My win condition is I need to, which is my second edition tournament army for Stormcast, was shooting everything off the table with the old Knights of the Heldenham. No, it was Anvil. It was the Undead Stormcast. They used to have what Daughters of Cain got from Marathi, where you could shoot each hero phase. And in second edition, that was great. And I would honestly argue that due to the Stormcast losing rate right now, not a win rate, it's a losing rate, maybe we can unnerf Stormcast a bit to compete with some of these other builds that are coming out, because then you get Marathi and the Bow Snakes. Their objective to win, right? Their win condition is kill as much stuff with Marathi as possible before she dies, and shoot and as many hero faces as possible with that power projection with their bows, or their bow snakes, in order to murder as much stuff as possible from range. That is a threat to, say, their Marathi. Again, it would be, say, shooting the enemy shooting units, and then they can't take cheap wounds off of Marathi and kill her earlier in the game. Right? That makes sense. If you have a bunch of witch elves, you go out and run them out, fully buff them with every elixir of whatever, and watch 30 of them murder everything in the game. If we're talking chaos, I've got my win condition for, let's say, Slaves to Darkness army. Just in general, could be with my Varen Guard. I need to make sure I pick a smart fight for them, or my Chaos Knights. I need to pick a smart fight for them so that they don't get overwhelmed. They need to be doing the charging. And I need to be smart with where I put my Nurgle units to really tank and soak up damage, especially if I'm bringing the Nurgle banner, so that I can make sure that the biggest threat in my opponent's army is stuck fighting them. That way I can sit on objectives and wait out the timer, because my knights or my Varen Guard or Archeon himself will do the damage eventually. My win condition is taking as much heat off of them as possible so they can kill what they need to kill. And for new cities of Sigmar, I still don't know, because I don't know. I haven't gotten in any games with them yet. Soon, I actually just got a game in with my Deepkin, which is very nice. I love that army so much. But let's give Destruction a little more love too here. All right, Ogres, a very popular build, is going Meat Fist Tribe to get the extra pluses to do mortal wounds on the charge. Right, that's their shtick with Ogres is their win condition is they need to be able to do those mortal wounds. Their melee isn't the best. You can only fit so many Iron Guts in a list, or if you're bringing all the monster riding leaders, the Frostlord on Stonehorn needs to be able to hit whatever it needs to hit. So your win condition is keeping your Frostlord on Stonehorn alive, so it can do the mortal wound charges. It can do its monstrous action to hit good targets. You're looking to heal it, keep it alive. You've got one or two of them in an army, then some other support pieces. But your hope is overall with Ogres, do as many mortal wounds as possible, so that your volume of wounds yourself, even with your bad saves, can soak the damage along with any ward saves you have. It's weird. You're a defensive army. Like with Khorne, you would think their win condition would be kill everything, because they're Khorne, they're martial mastery, they're blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. A lot of the time, Khorne wins games again by smart movement and being like a controlling army of the battlefield. You need to apply your buffs properly. You need to be able to block off parts of the battlefield by throwing waves of bodies at people, and then hopefully throwing more waves of bodies at them once everybody dies. It's not as intuitive as you think with what a win condition is. And if you have any more questions about things like this, please, again, comment below. What army do you play? What do you think your win condition is? What is your win condition? If you have questions, ask. Then I get more videos like this. We will hopefully be resuming the what our army's afraid of series soon. I'm going to need to find some more guests for some things. And again, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. I know a lot of you haven't. You should be subscribing. YouTube pitch. And thank you. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky, actually. So, send me some love over there too. Thank you for watching. Be nice, roll some dice, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.